BWOne, and in this video I'm going to give you my review of the Samsung Galaxy S5, one of the coolest smartphones out this year in 2014. So let's jump right into it here. This is the Galaxy S5. Let's take a tour around it first. From a hardware design, it doesn't change its design language too much from the Galaxy S4, but it still looks pretty good and has its own unique sort of style and features with it here. It does come with a 5.1-inch HD display. That's at 1080p. Have a front-facing camera. You do have your home button here. That's now a fingerprint scanner as well too. I'm gonna show you how cool and sometimes a little uncool that kind of works. I have a little bit of button changing here. Now at the bottom we actually have a button. This button here is your multitask button, and then you have your back button here instead of that menu button there. So that's gonna be a little bit different. Your volume button's pretty much on the same size as before. The chrome trimming now has sort of the ridges or the little lines on the side of it here, similar to what they put inside the Galaxy Note, but they're a little bit thicker versus the Galaxy Note 3 is just a little bit thinner. Here on the back you do have a 16 megapixel camera. You do have a flash and a heart rate monitor on here. Pretty cool. I'm going to show you how that works. Something unique you don't normally see in phones in many places. You do have your speaker right here at the bottom. You do have the removable back cover still, which makes, you know, Samsung pretty cool. Removable back cover, and that's going to give you the 2800 milliamp hour battery. Might have the number wrong, might be 2600, 26 to 2800 milliamp hour battery. I'll fix that in the notes. You have your SIM card and micro SD card slot that supports up to a whopping 128 gigabytes of storage. Now, what's unique here about this back cover, besides the fact that it has this little golf ball sort of style ridges on it, it actually helps grip the device overall a little bit better versus the smooth back that the S4 had last year. But with the S5, you have these little sort of this rubber band going around here. That's because the S5 is actually a water resistant and dust proof phone. So that's pretty cool. So you can basically splash it around a little bit. I wouldn't go dunking it in water and leaving it there, but essentially if it falls into the toilet or if it falls into a sink or something, you'll be able to pick it up and it'll still keep going and ticking here. And that's one of the reasons for, on the bottom here, which is a USB 3.0 port, that they have a little flap, which is kind of an annoying thing. I wish they would have used sort of just like a sliding door just to close that and make it waterproof and dust proof there, or water resistant and dust resistant there. But you do have a USB 3.0 port. These do support regular USB ports, so you can plug in an old USB 2.0 and it will charge. But the USB 3 will allow it to charge faster and also allow it to transfer data faster if you're using a USB 3.0 on your computer. And it kind of closes up like that, and it's going to remind you after you charge if you still have it open every single time. But kind of found this to be a little bit on the annoying side overall with that. But pretty cool, simple design. You get the headphone jack here at the top, which is what I like, and all the sorts of other things that you're used to with Samsung. Not too much different in terms of design, but it is nice, and it is something that's going to appeal to most customers out there, especially if you are used to the Galaxy S line of phones. Let's go ahead and turn this on here, get that nice little display. Now this is running Android 4.4 KitKat. It's running TouchWiz as sort of the ROM that's on top of it. So it's TouchWiz based on Android 4.4. That's why I like to usually say there. So it's got the latest version of software. Go ahead and turn it on here. Now from the lock screen now you can actually jump right into the camera, which we'll get into the camera a little bit later here. But we're gonna go ahead and go right in. We'll show you how to unlock it again here. Hit the power button like that. There we go. Probably freaked it out there for a second. All right, we're not coming back on here. Oh, there we go. All right, back up here. I'm gonna go ahead and swipe up like that. And now we're here into TouchWiz, which is a little more refined, but a lot of people say that they've kind of toned some things down. I've kind of found that to kind of be a little bit of the opposite. I think they've kind of wrapped things up a little bit. You notice some differences here. I mean, the interface is pretty much the same. You have your menu, your app drawer here at the bottom, and you have your keys there. You do have your apps here at the bottom here, app drawer to get into your different apps. Now, since this is a multitask button, which you hit that, I like to call it an app switcher because that's what it really is, to switch between apps. Now you actually have to go here to the top for any type of menu options, and that's going to show up in different parts of the OS as you go along. If it's something that needs a menu key, it's going to be right there at the top. So just be kind of mindful of that. as you're using the S5 here. Now it is, like I said, it's running that. It's running Android 4.4 TouchWiz. It has a quad-core processor inside of it, a Snapdragon 801, and 2 gigabytes of RAM. So it's running some pretty powerful hardware, which makes a pretty fast and smooth experience overall. But there are some unique things here, such as My Magazine, which I'm going to show you when I swipe up the home screen here. I actually shut that off because I'm not the biggest fan of it, but to show you guys what it's all about here. My Magazine is a sort of a Flipboard-esque newsreader that kind of pops up here. It's a little on the slow side from time to time, and it's cool to swipe over and see some quick news, but not something I'm gonna fully use. I don't see a lot of people fully using it. It's the type of thing that you would use to glance at now and then. But it's very similar to HTC sort of blink feed, but it hangs out there right on the side, and you just got to swipe all the way to the end here to pop it up, but you can remove it and shut it off if you want to, just by going up here and changing that. You can also change the transition effects. I was using the card stack. You can have none or 3D rotation. So let's do a 3D rotation, which I think a lot of people are used to seeing, which is sort of this way of kind of swiping around your phone. And your apps obviously kind of stay the same way here. Now, the one thing I noticed is here, when I went like that, you used to be able to sort of try to organize the different app cards, the different app drawers in the app section to organize the way you want to move it around. Can't seem to do that here in the newer version of TouchWiz. They've also changed the folder icon. You can see it looks like a folder now instead of the pile of icons. I kind of prefer the pile of icons. I thought it was a little more unique. You still can't drag an icon on top of another and instantly create a folder. Disappointing, because I really like that feature in Android, in the stock version of Android, in which they had it here in TouchWiz. Overall, it's a pretty speedy experience, pretty smooth experience. I haven't had too many slowdown issues. I really haven't, now that I think about it, I really haven't had any slowdown issues really at all with it. It's been very responsive overall. Now, let's go ahead and swipe here as I was showing you. This is your notification section. They've kind of changed around. I'm not too big on the color scheme of it, but it's usable. It definitely kind of has a little bit of theme to it. I wish you chose a different color scheme, kind of overall, a different little bit of look, and made it a little bit more minimalized with it. But you still have your typical your display of your brightness up here. You have S Finder, quickly connects to wireless devices that are kind of around that you kind of have set. Quickly connect to them and share information. You do have your Wi-Fi, location, mute, Bluetooth. You can tap down here. You can have your all your other different features here. You have the toolbox, which I'm going to show you, is pretty cool. Ultra power saving mode, another cool feature, and private mode, which is also another cool feature. And you can organize these around to have which ones are going to show up at the top there to get quick access to. Let's go ahead and go back here. Let's go into settings and jump into settings here. Now they've done something a little different here with settings. It has more of these circular colorful icons that sort of kind of pop out at you. It reminds me a lot of the New York Transit station, especially with the trains. If you look at the trains down there, it usually has a number with a sort of a circle on it and see some type of different color. They sometimes all have some different shapes as well too, depending on what trains you're riding there, and it kind of reminds me of sort of that style. It helps. It's still a little bit cluttered here, and I really don't know what smartphone isn't truthfully cluttered with settings that is really easy to kind of navigate through. I would have liked to see Samsung sort of pare down the settings into different groups and make it easier to kind of jump in. If you got to dig a little deep, you just kind of have to. But this is still somewhat intimidating to kind of look at here. As I accidentally hit that, but that's showing you multitasking, and you can clear them out like that. You can also get to your active application to see what your RAM status is very quickly as well. So it's pretty cool. Swipe down. Let's go back into settings here. But you can also organize the way these settings are. You can change them. You can change them around if you want to do the list view. You can do that. You can also do the tab view if you want to do that sort of orientation as well. So you have some options there, which are pretty nice. Let's go back to the grid view here. Now let's take a look at some of the unique modes, which is one of them I really want to focus on here, is the ultra power saving mode. Now this basically allows to, it's going to take all the features away from the phone. Let's actually go up here to it. It's a little battery here. And you can see here, there's power saving. There's like an Ultra One U power saving mode. See, this is the only, see, I'm kind of showing you some of the problems with the actual sort of icon here. It's not the easiest to remember where to go and where to search around, but that's fine here. We can actually access it right here at the top. Up and down, this ultra power saving mode. What it's going to do is basically strip the phone down so low that it's only going to have the basic features and the basic things that you need, and it's going to allow you to extend the battery even further, especially at that minimal 10% that you usually have left. That's when you're out in the club and partying and having a pretty good time. But ooh, you need your phone because you don't want to like miss any calls, any texts. You want to make sure everyone gets home safe, trying to get that last minute phone number there. So hit on ultra power, letting me know what the current percentage right now. I can have an estimated standby time of 11.8 days. Let's go ahead and click OK and show you what happens here. Turns the screen entirely into black and gray, which is a cool advantage of these ultra powered, cool advantage of the AMOLED displays. This is what this display technology is. Basically, the blacks inside of it are basically off. The actual pixels in there are off, so it's not using any battery power. Helps out a lot when it comes to the ultra power saving mode and saving battery life here. So that's what you get. Very basic, not much you can really do here with it. You have phone, messaging, internet. You can add applications if you want to. Hit your calculator, clock, Facebook, Google Plus, Memo, Twitter, voice recorder. And if you go into the browser here, use your very basic grayscale browser with not much going on here. We also want to thank Sprint as well for sending along this review unit for us. That was pretty cool of them to do so. And let's go ahead and head back here. And this is where we're pretty much at. Now to hop out of that mode, it's pretty simple. You can even see notifications are even dumbed down. We can go even in the settings here. Even settings are really dumbed down to basic needs, basic needs. It just shut everything they possibly can off to save battery life there. So that's something to keep in mind. That's the ultra power saving mode. We're gonna go ahead and disable that feature here. Bring our phone back up. It actually goes relatively decent between two modes. It could be a little bit faster, but I can't complain too much considering what it's kind of doing for you there for a feature. And we should bring things back up. Bada bing, bada boom. There we are. All right, so that's ultra power saving mode. Let's check out another mode here, which is toolbox. Hit that toolbox. You see this little icon right there? This is gonna float around no matter where you are in your phone here, no matter where you are, and it's gonna kind of come around here, and you can put this anywhere you want to. When you tap on it, brings out some quick access to icons here to different applications, and you can kind of customize this as you want to as well too. It's not as easy as kind of just to jump in to get it through this menu. You actually have to, so let's bring this over here. You actually have to bring it over here. Let's add some applications we're uploading here. So you have to swipe down, and you have to, that's dual view, which we know about there. We'll go back to that in just a second, but toolbox is actually within here, and you can actually customize what options you want to use there. There's toolbox, and you can change these around. So if I want to edit that and I want to add different applications I want to get quickly to, you can only have 5 in there. So if I want to add Eureka offers, I have to remove one other there, but you can see add quick access. Really cool. It's actually kind of useful, especially if you're navigating around your phone a whole lot and you just want to get to things very fast. Toolbox is a pretty useful feature for that. We'll go ahead and swipe that off. Since we already had this on, let's go ahead and show you the multi-window mode. I think you guys pretty much know about this. You can have one window here at the top. Let's say that's for text messaging. Then one window here for my files or whatever I want. And you can, usually you're able to kind of switch between files and stuff. You can navigate how big this is, and you can share files between them that support it. Pretty cool. It's been in the it's been around really since the Galaxy Note 2. It's in the S4, it's in the S5, and it's in the Note 3 as well. Great, probably the best way to multitask between 2 different applications is pretty much using that there. All right, you can just hold the back button there and that shuts it right back off. Okay, so that is a couple of modes there. We'll go ahead and clear those out. Let's take a look at another mode here, which is private mode. Private mode is pretty cool. This is probably going to save a lot of relationships out there. Well, I have like a little Galaxy tip video that either will be up before or after this video to show you kind of a little bit more in depth on how it works. So basically, you have a pattern here, which I'll just draw. Basically, what this does is it allows you to view pictures and files and content in your own little private mode, and when you have it out of this mode, no one's going to be able to see it. So a great example here is we're going to go ahead and go to the gallery. Let's see here, let's go right around to the gallery. We'll bring that up. All right, there's some pretty cool stuff here in the gallery. Let's see, you can see some of these pictures right here I have showing, and you see some of them have that private mode sort of on them there. And let's say I want to add some pictures to that. So let's say I want to add this, this in this video. I hit that button there, moves to private. It's going to move it into a separate section of the entire phone, and it basically makes that a little encrypted, a little private for you. So I'll show you what happens once we bounce out of private mode here. And so I really do like this. I think it's a cool feature that kind of, I haven't seen in really many other smartphones. It's actually really nice to have that, especially if you're a person that has, let's say you have kids and they're always using your phone, you have some important files on there or some things you don't necessarily want them to see. You can have that on there where your kids play your games. That's kind of probably be the biggest thing for parents. You can have your little private section there yourself while your kids play whatever, you know, download a game of SpongeBob or whatever the case may be that they're going to play on it here. So that's moving over into that mode. All right, so I'm gonna swipe here at the top. I'm going to turn off private mode here. It's going to warn you that all content will be closed. Any changes you save and you have not saved will be discarded. So hit OK, go back, private mode turned off. And you notice those pictures and videos that were once there are no longer showing anymore. So this will be the standard mode there for you. So private mode, really like that feature as well. It's pretty cool. And simply put, now let's take a look at some of the health options. That's obviously, we're going to take a look at S Health here. This has to do with this bad boy right here in the back, which is the heart monitor. Let's go ahead and hit S Health. The next, I think I reset my S Health recently. Yep, and I did actually reset it here. Okay, we're going to skip linking an account. All right, we already kind of did all this. It must have just forgotten it. All right, but let's see if we can jump into, all right, we'll just make a basic account. We'll just call it something here. Not sure HEA, that's fine. Let's hit next. Select gender, all right, I'm gonna say male. All right, I'm not 5'6", but you know, this is basically allows you these basic questions here, and we'll get started with S Health. But really what I want to show you off the jump, besides the fact that the application's pretty extensive for all the different things you can use with it as far as monitoring your health and well-being, and that's going to be really cool for a lot of fitness people, is the heart rate monitor is pretty cool. That's the built-in hardware in here. So there's a sensor here on the back. We'll go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to be ready to do that. So you see right here, I'm going to try and keep calm and keep quiet and see if we can measure. All right, measuring. Uh-oh, I'm not doing this too well. Yeah, I gotta do that over again. So actually I'm gonna do this with my other hand here. So basically hit OK. You see right there, see a little red dot? Boom. Oops, shaking there a little bit. There we go. 77 beats per minute. Let's see if I can drop that down. Drop that down all the way to 65 there. So, see, it's pretty cool. It's a nice feature to add. Like I said, if you're a health person on the go, you're gonna really like that. And it has a lot of these other different health applications. If you have the Gear 2 or the Gear Fit, that's gonna be able to something you're gonna be able to take advantage of when using this as well. But that's the heart rate monitor. I just wanted to show real quickly there with S Health. Now let's take a look at the other scanner, which is the fingerprint scanner here. We're actually going to turn this on. I actually have it off by default for security. I was using it a little earlier, and it's pretty cool. It's not something I think a lot of people are going to use very consistently, but it's nice to have, I guess, if you do choose that option. Let's actually use it as our screen lock here. We're going to use our fingerprint to unlock our screen. I've already registered some here. Basically, let's go ahead and swipe that like there, recognize my thumb. I have a couple of fingerprints in there. If I want to add another one for whatever reason, I can. I just start swiping down. I already kind of registered this, and it's going to ask you to swipe in several different ways, and you go through all of them, and then it'll recognize and save that fingerprint for you. Now let's go ahead and do that here. Now the phone is locked. It recognizes it. Now I'm not able to do that specifically with one hand. I've kind of tried it. It's very inconsistent because it's basically where the button layout is kind of causes it to be really hard to kind of do this with one hand as you would kind of want to. I have another finger registered. You have to swipe slower. After a while, if you don't get it right, it's going to ask you to enter in a password here to unlock it. Let's see. Boom, finally recognized like that. So the fingerprint scanner, it's okay. It's not the most accurate, but I think it really has to do with hardware design. The fact that it's down here and there's not a lot of real estate here to be able to do that. It'd be a little bit nicer just to be able to put your finger on it and then recognize it, but really there isn't a whole lot of real estate space there for that to happen. Cool feature, works with PayPal if you want to use it there. A little extra security, really all depends on use. Not something I see a lot of people using there, but overall pretty cool.
From BWOne, and in this video I want to give you an unboxing, setup, and first impressions of the new Amazon Fire TV and the Fire TV game controller. So
alright, as you can see there, audio quality has somewhat improved here in the Galaxy S5. You can hear the speakers have some bass to it and a little bit better than before. They're still back facing, which is a little disappointing. They're not as good as HTC Boom Sound, which is in a league of its own when you're talking about external speakers on a smartphone, but they are nice and loud and do sound a little bit crisper than the previous one on the S4 here. Now, also in terms of video, 5.1 display, 1080p, you're gonna see video looks pretty good, pretty sharp. Play a little bit more here.
Just got announced yesterday from Amazon. We just got it here today. We're gonna jump right into the unboxing and get things started. So, boom, right there.
Bring that down here a little bit. We'll jump around, take a look at some other video elements here. But overall, when you're watching and listening to multimedia on the S5, you're going to have a good, nice, and satisfying experience. Let's jump here, last but not least, into the 13 megapixel camera. The camera layout here itself is a lot nicer than it they keep improving it, as I think every year. Samsung usually has a pretty nice camera layout, but this time they've really done a good job of minimalizing it, making it a little bit easier. They've calmed down on a lot of the modes here. These are pretty much the pre-installed modes. A couple that are cool are actually the virtual tour mode. I actually really do like that. You basically create your own virtual tours. I'll actually show you one. I think I have one on here. You can download the other modes from their store if they have all the extra ones. You can grab them here, and developers want to make ones, they can make ones to add on to it to enhance the camera. All right, back here, but really it's all about a couple of key things here. 60 megapixels, of course. The megapixels aren't everything, but it does help in the quality of the photo. And there's a couple key things. It has, you can see there, HDR for high dynamic range for different lighting elements to take a great picture, and it also has another cool feature called selective focus, which basically allows you to adjust the focus after you've taken a shot in a specific mode here. There's also 4K video recording as well. Let's actually hop back into there. You should have 4K video recording as well on here, and flash, all those typical things here. Now, you know that most cameras these days really do have a lot of these things. 4K is probably the most unique thing, but let's talk about the quality first. So let's go ahead and hop into the gallery and take a look at the quality of the photos. All right, let's go back, hit back there. Actually, go to my multitask or app switch button, bring it up here. Now we're sitting here in the gallery. Let's take a look at some of the photos that I've taken here. I'm actually gonna pop these here on the screen. Now, photos overall are pretty good, and I really do like it. Samsung really does a good job of making the camera a fun element of the phone here. You can see some of the images, some of the pictures I've taken. Camera quality looks great. Everything looks really good. In bright daylight, you're gonna get the best images. At night, it could get a little tricky with Samsung. It gets a little dark and even sort of very to the point where it's very grungy. Even with flash, it looks a little dark. It doesn't look as great as you would like it to be. They really do have some room for improvement there. It's improved over previous cameras, but not by a whole lot. And sometimes the processing software can sort of do a little bit more than needed to try and make it work. So there are some little caveats there with that. But with that said, let's take a look at the couple of unique features, which is the selective focus. All right, let's take a look at this picture I have here on the S5. You see the little icon right there? That means selective focus. You bring that up. Now you can change how this picture is focused. I took this in sort of a boardroom. So I have it currently on near focus. If I hit far focus right on the phone, it's going to change the focus on it. You can see there. You have pan focus option as well too. And you can kind of switch between them as you want to, whatever one you think is better. You can hit save done and you can keep it. So let's change it to the far focus and boom. I'm gonna hit done, save that, and now that's how the picture is done. So pretty cool to be able to do that pretty much on the fly on a smartphone. It's pretty amazing, showing you the power of these phones these days. Just ridiculous here. Let's actually go back up here a little bit and let's take a look at the virtual tour that I took, which should be on here. Just give me about 1 second to find it. I'm pretty sure I do have it here. Oh, let's go back here. I have the virtual tour on here somewhere. And there we go. There it is right there. So this is a quick tour that I took with just around the park, and it kind of plays like a little video, and you have a little map there, and you can kind of see me turning and navigating around the circle here, and you can have it, you know, go anywhere you want to. I'm gonna go jump a little bit ahead to try to take the tour. Pretty cool if you're away from college, you know, and you want your parents to see what your dorm room looks like. You kind of to give them a little bit of a virtual tour and send it to them. If you're new to a new apartment, new house, and you have friends and family that are far away, they can't come visit, you can at least have them tour, give them a sort of virtual tour of that. I thought that's a pretty cool feature, something that you're not going to use every single day, but it's nice that it's honestly there, because the one time you're going to want to use it, at least it's there and you can use it, and I can see some fun elements with that. So pretty cool here from Samsung to add that there. All right, I think that pretty much wraps up all the main features here in the Galaxy S5. I mean, overall, this is a great phone that I would consider something excellent par for the course. That's what I sort of consider the Samsung Galaxy S5. It by no means takes a lot of risks, and it's kind of because Samsung really doesn't have to right now. They may be looking at maybe another product line to take some more risks on right now, but the S5, that's their baby. That's their big cash cow right now in the S series, the Galaxy S series. So they probably want to keep that fan base happy. So not changing things around too much is probably a safe bet. I'm a little disappointed because I really wanted to see some advancements with it. I really could have seen Samsung do maybe some crazy things here to really shut down the Android high-end game. They really could have been the main, you know, could have been the leader and could have been the permanent leader of top-tier Android phones if the S5 was just a little bit better. I think some of the competition coming around right now, they kind of left the door open here a little bit with the S5. But overall, I'm not disappointed in the S5 to say, in the saying that I want to recommend it. I would still recommend this phone. I think it's going to be great for a lot of people. You're going to like the display. If you're on an S2 right now, you're on an S3 right now, S5 is the way to go. If you're on an S4 right now, you're pretty much good to stay. You're really only getting improvements within the camera, and if you want the heart rate monitor or the better battery life in here, which is one thing I actually didn't go over here, is battery life in general is very, very good on the Galaxy S5. I've been able to get a full day on a single charge. It's one of those phones where I use as a power user, so I had like 3 email accounts, 4 social networks, make calls, texts all day, just slammed it, able to get through the day. I was able to unplug it from about 7 a.m. in the morning. I lasted I would say not 7 p.m. I would say roughly about that day that I did. That's probably about a 10 or 11 or so, and I still have some pretty solid battery with it. Your battery life is going to vary based upon where you are, how much you use the phone. If you're a casual user, you're going to get better out of it. If you're a casual user, you only got a couple of accounts on there, you're probably going to be able to get close to going 2 days without needing a charge. If you're a power user, I would say you're going to look at a full day and you're going to be able to get around just fine with the Galaxy S5. Call quality is also good on it as well too. Overall, just a very, very good package here. Like I said, excellent part for the course. Would have liked to see Samsung take some more risks, but I can't knock them for not doing that too much, because this is really like I said, their big baby here. So this is their big baby. This is the one they got to keep going here. So this is BWOne here from BWOne, and I'm going to stop rambling and ask you, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. A like really does help us out. Comment if you have any questions. Let's talk about what you think of the Galaxy S5. Share this around if you think it'll be useful for some people to watch this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page here. Follow us on Twitter, on all those social networks. The link to those in the description. And we have a big website, main website at BWOne.com. Be sure to check that out as well too. And always remember to live your tech world in high definition. Thanks for watching.